So hi everyone. For this particular session, I am going to explain on the marking scheme that you have when it comes to paper 1 as well as your paper 2, how marks are being awarded, which are the criteria the examiners would look into when it comes to awarding you marks or grades, right? So let's look into the detailed explanation, and at the same time, I am going to share some techniques or some ideas that all of you might take it as something useful for you to look into, right? So yeah. So first of all, let's look at your paper 1 marking scheme. So to further explain, I am doing on O levels English language paper, which is your 1123 format. Okay, so as for your paper 1 marking scheme, if you look at the questions, basically you will be given 2 essays or 2 questions. Section 1 is on your directed writing, and section 2 question would be on your composition. So as for directed writing, you will be given one essay topic whereby you must answer the question based on the bullet points given. Okay, and when it comes to the composition question, you are required to choose one out of the 5 questions given, draft your ideas, and also make sure you follow the idea or follow the style of writing. For example, if you're choosing descriptive essay, you have to make sure that your answers or your writing or your essay should be descriptive instead of being narrative. Always keep in mind that descriptive essays should not have any elements of this of a narrative writing. Yeah, so the second part of your composition is going to be on your what we call this argumentative writing, whereby you will be given 2 questions and you are to read the questions carefully. And for this part of question, argumentative, there are no right or wrong answer, provided with solid or legit information and statement given by yourself with further explanation as well as examples to support your explanation, your piece of writing would be legit, right? And the third type of question would or essay would be given to you would be on your narrative writing. Yeah, so narrative writing, there'll be 2 questions given to you or 2 topics. You are to read the topic and look at which type of topic or which type of essay will be very convenient for you to write, and also would award you good marks when it comes to the content as well as the language. Okay, so now let's look at the the marking scheme given. When it comes to task fulfillment or for the content points, right, there will be 15 marks awarded. So band 5 consists of the highest marks or the almost the full marks given for your task fulfillment, which is 13 to 15. So for this part here, when you have clear understanding of the question as well as clear awareness of the specific situation given, and you're addressing your points or your ideas to the appropriate audience, then it shows that all the required points are developed in detail, whereby you are addressing all the 3 content points given or the bullet points given with good explanation as well as examples given with appropriate tone and registers used. You will be awarded at least 13 to 15 marks, which is almost the full marks. But in case if you have some understanding of the purpose of writing, or you may lack some focus when you're writing due to some factors such as you did not really read the questions fully, or you failed to understand the requirement of the question, or you panicked while you're writing and you could not really fulfill the questions or the the points given or the bullet points are not fully explained or developed or partially explained or developed, then you spend at the third band, which is from 7 to 9 marks would be given. All right, so when it comes to language, right, the band there will be like 8 bands given, whereby band 8 would be the highest. So band 8 would be on the what we call these highly accurate writing. Apart from very occasional slips, there are like minimal or very slight errors given by yourself or made by yourself when it comes to writing. And we can, as examiners, we are able to see variety of sentence structures being used in your writing, wide and precise vocabulary, punctuations are accurate and very helpful with accurate spelling, or from very occasional slip, like maybe one or two words are mistakenly spelled, or you're writing when you're rushing and you're writing, maybe you punctuated your sentences wrongly, maybe, or one or two perhaps. Okay, so you stand to get the highest band, which is band 8, and your marks would be in between 14 to 15. Yeah, so but in case that you have made some slight errors, okay, for example, like mostly accurate writing and errors from ambition do not clarify of communication, do not much clarify of communication. For example, like you have some variety of sentence structure, but you tend to repeat the sentences, or you tend to repeat the words, okay, or your type of writing is monotonous, it's like a slightly boring to be read, or your sentences are not really in variety, or maybe your vocabulary is too simple, or maybe there are some errors with more ambitious words, punctuations are generally accurate, and sentence separation correctly marked, but there are some errors that occur, for example, like direct speech, or a little spelling errors here and there, or some ambiguous sentences, or maybe links may be absent, or some words inappropriately used. So if you fall into this particular category, then you will be given band 6, whereby your marks would be from 10 to 11. Yeah, but in case your writing is sufficiently accurate to communicate with meaning, with patches of clear or accurate language, for example, there are some errors made in verb form or tense consistently, which may disturb the ease of communication, or the vocabulary used are adequate to convey intended meaning, and idioms may be uncertain, or there are spelling for simple vocabulary, or errors are made more difficult words, and paragraphs are used, but you may lack of unity or coherence. So in case you fall into this particular category, then you will fall into the band 5, which would give you 8 to 9 marks, right? So that is for your paper 1, okay, for both the essays, your directed writing, as well as for your composition. Yeah, and now we are focusing on the second part of the paper. For example, what we are looking at is paper 2. Okay, it is still your O levels English language paper 1, 1, 2, 3, and now we are focusing on paper 2. So when you look at paper 2, there will be 2 sections, right? Section 1 would be on summary or reading for ideas, whereby you will be awarded 25 marks, and for section 2, reading for meaning, you will be again awarded 25 marks. But as for the marking scheme, there are specific marking scheme for your summary, whereby how do we award marks when it comes to the content point, as well as for the writing of summary, um, and your question when it comes to your understanding of the paragraphing used, basically. Yeah. So for this part here, there will be 12 marks awarded when it comes to your content point, whereby you have to identify and describe the ideas shared in the paragraph or in the text, especially your passage 1, which is used for your what we call this, for your summary. Okay, so based on passage 1, you will read through, and when you refer to the question, there will be keywords given or key ideas given, whereby you will only look at this specific idea that you're focusing. For example, if you look at your one of your past year paper per se, there is a passage that talks about. Okay, let me share this, because you'll be able to look into it in detail. Yeah. Okay, so a passage on silk, perhaps. So silk will actually, the question goes when you are explaining on the rise and spread of silk in former times, as well as the reasons why silk is valued in modern times. So these are the two key ideas that you are supposed to look for when it comes to the passage. Okay, so most of the time, or almost all the time, the first half of the passage will give you answers for the first question, and the second part of the passage would give you the ideas for the second question. Yeah, A and B. So now looking at the marking scheme for your summary here. um, 12 marks will be awarded when it comes to your first part here, which is the content point. So you will extract all the points from the passage and write them in bullet points in the provided section. Okay, so for this part, even though you are extracting the ideas without changing the without using your own words, marks will also be given. Okay, and when it comes to writing your summary, 10 marks are awarded for writing your summary. So how do we give you this 10 marks? It is from the style of writing. For example, the use of words or sentences. Are they in variety or not? What type of sentence structures are you using? Or what type of sentence linkers are you using in your summary? Okay, and there will be 10 marks for that. And lastly, there will be a opinion based question. Okay, and you will be awarded 3 marks for this section, whereby you will be required to reread the paragraph. For example, the question may go like a reread paragraph 1 and give 3 opinions for the paragraph. So the paragraphs will be given, just say you are given like paragraph 1, and there are 3 opinions that you have to state from paragraph 1 based on your understanding. But for this part here, you must use your own words, or you explain your ideas using your own words in order for you to get good marks. Okay, so this is the first part of the question for your summary, whereby 25 marks will be given. 12 marks will be awarded for the content point alone, 6 marks for question 1A, and 6 marks for question 1B. And then for question 1C, whereby you write your summary, there will be 10 marks awarded for yourself. And for the next section, you will be awarded 3 marks. Okay, whereby the 3 marks will be based on your opinion. Yeah, and when we look at the second part of your paper 2, which is reading for meaning. So when it comes to reading for meaning, you will be referring to passage 2. And based on passage 2, you will be answering the questions given in your question paper. And when you look at 1 mark, or when you're awarded only 1 mark for the question, make sure you state your answers, or you extract the ideas from the passage and try to use your own words as much as possible. But again, if you come across questions that gives you 2 marks or 3 marks, you have to make sure that you have the ideas extracted from the passage, you explain them in detail, as well as you give examples if you are requested or required to give examples. But most of the time, in all your questions, there will be questions that awards you 2 marks, whereby you have to state the point as well as explain the points using your own words. Okay, so that would cover the marking scheme for your section 1, or your paper 1, as well as your paper 2. Okay, so I really hope that this session has somehow enlightened you on the marking scheme for both paper 1 and paper 2 for O-level English language paper, with your paper exam code, which is 1123. Okay, so do look at your past year questions, practice your past year questions, and also refer to the marking scheme, so that you'll be able to look at the points given by the examiner, or you'll be able to identify what are the answers which are not accepted by the marking scheme, and also with the explanation given why are the marks not awarded when you extract ideas exactly the same words from the text, because every time you look at the question, when the requirement of the question says using your own ideas, you are supposed to use your own words when you're explaining your ideas. Okay, so I hope this session would have been very useful for yourself as well as informative, and thank you for tuning in.